Here in America, to attack overseas without provocation, you need an imminent threat. In other words, if you want to go over there and shoot them, whoever they are, you need an imminent threat that they are going to come over here and shoot you or some of yours. We did not have that in this group, ISIS. Didn't have it. But now we have it. And we just found out about it, well, except for those of us who follow intelligence. Most people have never heard of them. They're the Khorasan group. The Pentagon describes it as a group of seasoned al-Qaeda veterans who have traveled from, among other places, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and elsewhere. What they do is they try to intercept Westerners to use them. So let's say somebody's coming from France or the United States and they want to go over there and fight in the wars in Syria. Well, what they'll do is they'll intercept them. Before that passport is stamped Syria, they'll bring them over to the side and use them later. Not to fight in Syria, but to carry out attacks on the West. France, Britain, United States, whatever. They've been operating in Syria for more than a year now, but their main mission is to target American and other Western countries. They do not care about this Assad business. They don't care about the war in Syria, that civil war. They don't really care about taking over lands in the way ISIS did. What they want to do is attack the United States. The Pentagon now reports the group was plotting what it calls a, quote, imminent attack on American and Western interests, unquote. Details beyond that are sketchy. And when details beyond that are sketchy, I usually have questions for Catherine Herridge, who pops up in the monitor there out of Washington. It seemed awfully convenient that all of a sudden, when you need an imminent threat to carry out the attacks that we obviously need to carry out, suddenly, poof, there's an imminent threat in the Khorasan group.
Well, what I learned today through my reporting, Shep, is probably the one element that made it possible to go forward with these strikes on the Khorasan group, which is that there was updated location information which made it possible to target the senior leadership of this group. And these are longtime al-Qaeda operatives, many of whom trained in Afghanistan with bin Laden in the 90s. Number two, if I was going to put my lawyer hat on, they're going to make the argument that it was imminent in the sense that they had moved out of the research phase into an operational phase, which is code for identifying people like you've just discussed, and then typically researching flights either into Europe or the United States. And if you looked at the strict definition under the authorization to use military force, it says people who are linked to those who were responsible for 9/11. And you can certainly make the case with the membership of the Khorasan group that they do have long-standing traditional ties to bin Laden himself.
Yeah, in fact, their leader is, we believe, sat next to Osama bin Laden on 9/12, the day after the attacks, and marveled at the 3,000 dead people. And their chief bomb maker is another one who was really close to al-Qaeda. Now, we know they hit 3 spots, and I'm going to show our viewers where it was. We just had a map up there. You asked me if that was it. I said, yes. Can you put it back up there? I don't know what's happening here. All right, this is the map. This is the area up here around Aleppo. That's the area where the Khorasan group was said to have been headquartered, right, Catherine? That's when we did those strikes. The United States did those strikes by themselves, and that was about Khorasan. I still wonder about details, though, you know. Where were they going to strike? They say this strike was imminent. They must know some of operational details or something, right?
Well, they know operational details, but what we've been able to confirm is that there was new location information that allowed us to go after the leadership. So you're tracking these people. We know, at least through my reporting, that we were able to identify the members of the Khorasan group well over a year ago. And one of the central leaders of the group, this Muhsin al-Fadl that you were referring to, this person with long-standing ties to bin Laden, who led al-Qaeda's network in Iran after 9/11. He was there under house arrest. This is one of the senior leaders who, according to reports, may have been hit in this strike. So you can see that the ability to hit was possible now in a way that it may not have been possible a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give people bad information. We don't know exactly what the target looked like, but we know that they were after airliners into Europe and into the United States with these non-metallic explosives. And security was raised in July because of information about the Khorasan group and efforts to use cell phones or laptops as some kind of method of detonation for these devices. Remember, the detonator is key in these devices, and fortunately for us has failed in the past with the underwear bomb, which he was frankly wearing too long, as we now know, and degraded the explosives, and then the cargo printer bombs were set with timers. That was their method of detonation.
All right, Catherine. Well, glad they got them. Good to see you. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Of course, it's not a done deal. And remember, there was an authorization that was put in place under President Bush that said you can go after these people who are directly related to this. Not some future cause, not some other thing, but these particular people. Well, if this one's sitting next to Osama bin Laden the day after 9/11, on 9/12/2001, well, that news from the future, that writing applies because of these people who were trying to get us imminently. Will we get details on that? Maybe. Syria's President Bashar al-Assad spoke out today, you'll be happy to know, after the airstrikes from the United States and its allies. And analysts say he sounds like he's siding with the U.S. today. Wow. Why would Bashar al-Assad side with the United States on this matter? Really hard to figure that one out, isn't it? Because this helps him. Not that that's our goal, but it is an unintended consequence. And our leaders knew it was going to help him. They said so in advance. We'll give you his exact words in reaction from a filmmaker who fought with the Free Syrian Army, those moderate Syrian rebels. That's coming up from the Fox News Desk.